Brother Subboor, I got a question for you, brother. I've been following your work now for a little bit and admire what you do on evolution, etc. Question for you. What are your thoughts on earlier Islamic scholars like Al-Jahiz and Ibn Khaldun that wrote about evolution that predate Darwin? So I know Al-Jahiz has a book called Kitab al-Hayawan, and he posits theories that discuss evolution. What are your thoughts about these?
That's a very, very good question. So this is something in which I made a huge mistake. So I believe the standard narrative, which has even been pushed out by, very prominent Western academics as well, that the Muslims were way ahead of everyone else when it comes to evolution. So referencing like Al-Jahiz and Ibn Khaldun and others. In fact, there's a book I was reading by a Cambridge, would you believe it, a Cambridge professor called Darwin's Ghost, in which she was repeating the same narrative, that Al-Jahiz and others, they had evolutionary ideas before Darwin, hence Darwin's Ghosts. However, there was a recent paper that was published, and this, by the way, is used by some Muslim evolutionists to say, look, what's the deal? They believed in it in the past. We believe in it. In fact, we even came up with it before Darwin. Now, Professor Subboor Ahmad Malik, somebody you'll see on my channel, Darwinian Delusions as well, he actually refuted this argument in a way that it just completely surprised academics. I mean, not only like the Cambridge academic I'm speaking of, but also some Muslims who wanted to purely push the Darwinian narrative alongside the human chimpanzee history and everything. So he actually showed how the Muslims didn't actually have anything resembling modern Darwin theory, and in fact it's been shoehorned into their writing. So he looks into the works of Al-Jahiz. There's actually an Arab professor who has written that book, Islam's Quantum Question. What's his name? Google it. Please look him up. So he was pushing this narrative as well, very famous on YouTube as well. The Muslims discovered it. Muslims know. How do you say his name? Nidal Ghosami. Nidal Ghosam. So all of these guys were pushing this narrative, and then that paper decisively showed there isn't an argument there. So I highly recommend that paper.
You mention the name and the author again?
The author is Professor Subboor Ahmad Malik.
Okay.
And the paper, Subboor Ahmad Malik.
Okay.
And the paper refutes the arguments that Muslims came up with Darwinism, and hence refutes the Muslim evolutionists today who simply want to accept.
So you're saying that it's an anachronism. They read into these earlier scholars with the lens of Darwin.
Yep, exactly. So Muhammad Habib, Jazakallah Khair, it's actually called Old Texts, New Mosques.
Okay. Yeah, I did not know about that.
Sorry?
I said I did not know about that. I always was kind of under that impression that they posited priests that resembled what Darwin.
In fact, I repeated it. And I believed it to be true. I mean, I was surprised that, once I found out what Subboor had published and it'd been peer reviewed and it's come out in a journal, I was surprised that, Cambridge University professors, nonetheless, no less, get this wrong, right? So, it's when Subboor actually showed me what was going on, it was literally a case of cherry picking, right? Which someone had done in the past and published, and nobody in academia bothered to actually go and check the translations and see if they were done properly, which again, a lot of academia is just based on testimony. So, some Arab guy's done it, we trust him, everyone copies, and Subboor actually went and looked at the source manuscripts and saw it's not the case at all.
I'll read it, Jazakallah.
Collaborative manuscripts with the pictures on them and so on. Is that what they're talking about? Have you seen those manuscripts?
Where?
Jarhead's ones. I haven't looked into what you've just said there. His
book of animals.
Yeah.
No, that's all valid.
Yeah.
But the idea that he came up with,
Right.
yeah, that's
Okay.
yeah. But he has great contributions to biology.
Cool.